Hey y'all, it's Kim again. So I found this kind of fascinating. They finally came out with the transcript of Kamala Harris's interview with Bill Whitaker from 60 Minutes. I think it just something that popped up on my Instagram, so I just thought I want to at least read through the transcript and see what was actually said. We know she's like the word salad queen. So let's see. This person says fact check. Trump is right. 60 Minutes is disgrace. Is a disgrace editing Kamala's interview because she flopped and fell on her face with insane, crazy answers. And let's watch this whole thing where they basically, we know
But
that
it
they
seems that
changed it.
Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Oh my goodness.
But it seems
Hold
that
on, let me stop
Prime
this.
Minister Netanyahu.
Yeah, because I think Trump was talking about this. This is Trump shreds Kamala in her disastrous 60 Minutes interview. This was from in October, but we're gonna actually look at the transcript, and it's just like it's just a back and forth thing. But anyway, the interview on 60 Minutes, Comrade Kamala Harris is considered by many of those who reviewed it the worst interview they've ever seen. She literally had no idea that she was talking about or what she was talking about. And it was an embarrassment to our country that a major party candidate would be so completely inept. In addition, her incompetence on helping people through the devastation of Hurricane Helene is being reviewed as by far the worst in American history, even worse than Katrina, if that is possible. I can't imagine anybody living in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, or Tennessee voting for her. Pollsters are saying that the anti or negative vote in those places and even places not affected, but with people watching what took place, will be heavily against her. This is good news because November 5th is the most important day in the history of our country, and we cannot bear 4 more years of incompetence. Make America great again. This is pretty epic. 60 Minutes actually held Kamala's feet to the fire, which I absolutely did not expect. Y'all watch her squirm when asked about immigration. Was it a mistake to loosen the immigration policies as much as she did? She has nothing. How much do y'all think she'll drop in the polls from this interview that they thought was going to give her a boost? I don't know. Let's look at the. I don't really care about all this. I was just pulling this up because just happened to be there. Um, so this is the whole transcript of that interview. It's got 48 pages. I'll probably just split this up into like kind of a serial thing, like some of the other stuff that I've done. But this is 24 Harris interview, and then it says crew ready to start inaudible. Vice President Kamala Harris, okay, and then you know that mold is at an all-time high today. Mr. Bill Whitaker, I did not. Vice President Kamala Harris, which is the one thing I'm allergic to. Mr. Bill Whitaker, yeah. Crew inaudible. Vice President Kamala Harris, okay. Pollen is down. Mr. Bill Whitaker, mold is up. Vice President Kamala Harris, mold is up. This is so boring. It says crew, that's it. Just take them off. Vice President Kamala Harris, you know how I know that? As a matter of fact, because I was watching CBS this morning, Mr. Bill Whitaker, oh right. Vice President Kamala Harris, and they had a little streamy thing. Mr. Bill Whitaker, there you go. Vice President Kamala Harris, now that I'm think about it, Mr. Bill Whitaker, you learn something new every day. Vice President Kamala Harris, indeed, crew inaudible. I'm going to just slap it once. Good, crew. Yep, crew coming around. John. Yeah, got it on both. Okay, so we need to clear the background. Crew inaudible. Crew, yes. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Vice President Kamala Harris. No problem. Just do what you need to. Crew inaudible. crew, everybody set, crew rolling, perfectly happy. Mr. Bill Whitaker, everybody happy. Crew looks good. Crew inaudible looks great. Mr. Bill Whitaker, you good? Vice President Kamala Harris, I'm good. Mr. Bill Whitaker, all right. Well, Madam Vice President, I want to thank you for doing this, and I thank you for inviting us into your home. Vice President Harris, of course, of course. Mr. Bill Whitaker, we're going to be running this on the anniversary of Hamas attack on Israel. Vice President Kamala Harris, yeah, October 7th. Mr. Bill Whitaker. So let's just start with Israel. Crew, hang on 1 second, Bill. Mr. Bill Whitaker, yeah. Crew, sorry, we had someone in the background. I'm afraid you're going to have to re-ask that. Vice President Kamala Harris, okay. Who's in the dining room? Woman, it was me, sorry. Vice President Harris, okay. Whitaker, so yeah, just start with Israel. Vice President Kamala Harris, okay. Mr. Bill Whitaker, the events of the past few weeks have pushed us to the brink, if not into an all-out regional war in the Middle East. Vice President Harris, Mr. Bill Whitaker, what can the U.S. do at this point to stop this from spinning out of control? Vice President Kamala Harris, well, let's start with October 7th, because obviously what we do now must be in the context of what has happened. She loves that word context. And as I reflect on a year ago, and that 1,200 people were massacred, young people at a festival, at a music festival, 250 hostages were taken, including Americans. Women were brutally raped. And as I said then, I maintain Israel has a right to defend itself. We would, and how it does so matters. And as we fast forward into that, we have seen in the ensuing weeks and months far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. And we know that, and I think most agree, this war has to end, and that has to be our number one imperative. And that has been our number one imperative. How can we get this war to end? Well, critical elements of that are we got to get a hostage deal and ceasefire deal done. We have to get aid in. We have to lay the path toward a two-state solution. I do believe that we must maintain that as an objective, no matter how out of reach it seems at the moment. And the work that we have to do is also pay attention to what is happening every day in the region, put U.S. resources into everything we can do, diplomatically and otherwise, to do or to de-escalate what is happening in the region. Whitaker, we supply Israel with billions of dollars in military aid. Harris, and Whitaker, and yet Prime Minister Netanyahu seems to be charting his own course. The Biden-Harris administration has pressed him to agree to a ceasefire. He's resisted. You urged him not to go into Lebanon. He went in anyway. He has promised to make Iran pay for the missile attack, and that has the potential of expanding the war. Does the U.S. have no sway over President Minister Netanyahu? Over Prime Minister, Harris? Well, let's start with this. On this subject, the aid that we have given Israel allowed Israel to defend itself against 200 ballistic missiles that were just meant to attack the Israelis and the people of Israel. And I think that is the most recent example of why what we do to assist in their defense around military aid is important. And when we think about the threat that Hamas, Hezbollah presents in Iran, I think that it is, without any question, our imperative to do what we can to allow Israel to defend itself against those kinds of attacks. Now, the work that we do diplomatically with the leadership of Israel is an ongoing pursuit around making clear our principles, which include the need for humanitarian aid, the need for this war to end, the need for a deal to be done, which would release the hostages and create a ceasefire. And we're not going to stop in terms of putting that pressure on Israel and in the region, including with other leaders in the region, including Arab leaders. Mr. Bill Whitaker, but it seems the Prime Minister Netanyahu's not listening. The Wall Street Journal said that your administration has repeatedly been blindsided by Netanyahu, and in fact, he has rebuffed just about all of your administrations and treaties. Harris, well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very prompted by or as a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region. And we're not going to stop doing that. We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end. Whitaker, just one last thing. Do we have a deal? Do we have a real close ally in Prime Minister Netanyahu? Harris, I think with all due respect, the better question is, do we have an important alliance between the American people and the Israeli people? And the answer to that question is yes, and we're going to do what is important to support whatever leadership is in Israel that is defending the security of the state of Israel. Whitaker, let's shift gears here. The most basic of questions. Why do you want to be president of the United States? Harris, there are many reasons, but probably first and foremost, I truly believe in the promise of America. I do, and I love the American people. You know, we are a people who have ambitions and aspirations and dreams and optimism and hope. Anyway, she used that several times. It's overused. If you look at the character of who we are and how we have achieved the strength that we have achieved, I believe in large part is because of our character and our belief in the promise of America. And I'm running for president because I want to do everything that is possible to create an opportunity for people to achieve these goals, those ambitions, and those dreams. And that is why you will hear me talk about my plan for an opportunity economy. Oh, Lord, equity. To invest in what we can do, not only to bring the cost of living and prices down for folks, but even though we achieved a lot of success, prices are still too high. You know it, I know it. But what we can do to invest in the innovation that is happening in startups and our small businesses, that we can do to invest in the industries of the future, what we can do to maintain America's strength in the global context. Sorry, I seem to be channeling Miss Word Salad Queen. Anyway, it says Whitaker, but that's why you want to run. That's why you want to be president, Harris. That's why I'm running, and that for some other reasons. Whitaker, but you're asking the American people to make you the most powerful person on the planet. Harris, Whitaker, why do you deserve the American people's votes? Harris, well, first of all, I have a career and a history of being very clear that I think of my role of leadership, and in particular now, for the last 4 years as vice president and moving forward as president, if the voters will have me, as being a leader on behalf of all Americans. As you know, I spent the majority of my career as a prosecutor, and I'm going to tell you, I never asked a victim of a crime, a witness, whether they were a Democrat, are you a Republican, are you an independent? The only thing I ever ask folks is, are you okay? And I believe that America deserves a leader who works on behalf of all Americans and understands the importance of knowing that the vast majority of us have so much more in common than what separates us. And my career and my work has always been about being grounded in common sense approaches to getting things done. And when it comes to what we need to do as it relates to national security, we just had that conversation. That includes understanding and respecting the power and the strength of the United States of America and our then responsibility to be a global leader, to nurture and strengthen our alliances around the world, to respect the U.S. military and its most noble mission to do the work of appreciating alliances, be it NATO or others, to do the work of pursuing diplomacy when it is in the best interest of the national security and prosperity. And my experiences tell me not only that those who must be priorities of the United States of America and the President of the United States of America and the Commander in Chief of the United States of America but also all those experiences tell me that the American people in this election have a clear choice. Because on the other side of the equation, we're looking at the former president, Donald Trump, who has shown himself to be, when he was commander in chief, someone who gave away America's standing in terms of our principles of standing up to dictators and autocrats. You see how he compliments Putin even today, someone who has prepared to walk away from our alliances. NATO is the strongest military alliance in the world, or the world has ever known. We have seen someone in Donald Trump who openly criticized the United States military, men and women who are prepared to greet, excuse me, prepared to at great sacrifice serve our country and defend the principles upon which we were founded. He calls them suckers and losers, which was debunked. Whitaker, but Madam Vice President, a quarter of registered voters still say they don't know you. They don't know what makes you tick, and why do you think that is? Because she can't explain herself. Um, I mean, you have been vice president for almost 4 years. You've been on the national scene for longer. What's the disconnect? Harris, it's an election bill, and I take it seriously that I have to earn everyone's vote, and that's why I'm traveling our country. I've seen you in a few states in the last couple of days. I am talking to folks where they live. I'm listening to folks and working to earn the vote of every American. This is an election for the President of the United States. No one should be able to take for granted that they can just declare themselves a candidate and automatically receive support. You have to earn it, and that's what I intend to do. I'm going to stop this here and then continue on right here with Mr. Bill Whitaker, this part. Anyway, there'll still probably be like 2 or 3 videos just because, probably 3. But anyway, let me stop it. And this right here says, no one should be able to take for granted that they can just declare themselves a candidate and automatically receive support. Isn't that exactly what they did? There was no primary for Kamala Harris, and there should have been. But if they would have done that, it would have been all hell breaking loose in that party. But they still lost, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm gonna stop it. I will see y'all in just a minute on the other videos. I just want to share this with you. Anyway, bye.